You say woo! Hi, my name is Mandy. This is Evie, and today, oh yeah, you tell them what we're talking about. Today we're going to be talking about my June TBR. Let's get to it. Can you believe that it is June already? That is crazy. Let's talk about books that I want to read in June. Now, I am going to be on vacation for 2 weeks of June. My husband is a teacher, school just got out, so we are going to be flying over to Pennsylvania to see my parents. I don't know how much reading I'll be able to get done during that time. So my TBR is not very long, but I am excited about what I have to share with you today. Now, if you've watched my first video, I talk about the 2 goals that I have each month. One of them is to read a book that is out of my comfort zone, and the other is to read a nonfiction book, whatever kind of nonfiction book it may be. The first book that I have to talk to you about today is the book that goes out of my comfort zone. I will be reading A Darker Shade of Magic by B.E. Schwab. I read This Savage Song by her last month. That one was one of her YA books, and this one is an adult fantasy novel. That is the main reason why it's going out of my comfort zone, because I don't typically read adult fantasy. But I am excited to read this because I've heard so many good things about her. I was not that big of a fan of her book, This Savage Song, but I'm willing to give her another try because so many people love this series. I don't know much about it. I won't really go into it because I want to be surprised as much as the next person. All I know is that it's adult fantasy, and I'm definitely going to be getting out of my comfort zone with that one. The next book that I will be reading fulfills my nonfiction requirement. I'm going to be reading Devil in the White City by Erik Larson. This book combines talking about the 1893 Chicago World's Fair and the killing spree of H.H. Holmes, who is known as America's first serial killer, although we all know that that's not actually true. He was the first one that was publicized so much. Apparently, I like death and serial killers because last month I read about forensic medicine in Jazz Age, New York. This month I'm going to be reading about a serial killer. How pleasant for me, right? I am excited to read through this. My grandma's from Chicago. I know that a lot of my family ties are there, so I am excited to read this book that ties some of that together with the history of Chicago. The next book that I'm going to be reading this month in June, I've actually already started. That is The Devouring Grey by Christine Lynn Herman. There has been a lot of talk about this book on BookTube, and I want to know if the hype is worth it. So you can see by my little marker, I'm not very far in, but so far it is fun. I've heard that it's kind of like a combination of Stranger Things and Riverdale. I like both of those things. Basically, this small town in New York has a problem. They have the Devouring Grey, and inside the Devouring Grey there is a monster. The founding families are supposed to protect the town from this monster, but it's not working anymore. We have a newcomer to town and old comers, and so far it's been good. Let's hope that I like it. I don't have physical copies for any of the other books that I will be reading, mainly because I am going on vacation. I'm not going to be taking any physical books with me. I'll be taking my Kindle and checking out books from the library. The next book that I'm going to be reading this month is Again But Better by Christine Riccio. This one has also been making the rounds on BookTube, and that is because it was written by a booktuber. It is really fun to see a booktuber turning the tables and becoming one of the people that is talked about on BookTube. I have it on hold at the library, and hopefully it will not become available before I have a chance to get back from my trip. Otherwise, I'm going to have to put myself back on the waiting list, and it probably won't get read until July. All I know about this book is that it's kind of a coming-of-age story about a girl who studies abroad in London for a semester. I like travel stories. I like England. So hopefully this is going to be one that I do like. I think Evie's awake. She was napping. Let's go get a baby. We've got a cuddly baby here right now. She's always really cuddly after she wakes up from naps. It's like the only time she'll cuddle unless she's sick. The next book on my TBR for this month is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. She's going down. This is the sequel to Six of Crows. I read this at the end of May and I loved it, and I'm really excited to read the sequel, Crooked Kingdom. I won't say much about it because it is a sequel and we don't want any spoilers. The last book that I will be reading for June is Before the Devil Breaks You by Leba Bray. This is the third book in the Diviner series, so once again, I will not be explaining anything about it because I don't want to give you any spoilers. But I am excited to read it, and I wish that the fourth book was out already so that I wouldn't have to wait, but that's okay. You gotta wait for some things in life, and the things you wait for are typically the most worth it, right? Who knows if I'll get to all of the books on my list, but I don't feel a lot of pressure to. These are just the books that I would like to read. Let me know what you plan to read in June. You can also let me know what you read in May. I'd love to hear that too. If you liked what you saw today, feel free to subscribe. You can also follow me on my social media, which I will link down below. I'll also leave links to all of the books that I mentioned. Happy June. I can't believe that it's June already. And have a great day. You think that's funny? She thinks this is funny. I don't know why.